Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Welcome to the commission meeting. We have Jason Eads from Summersville Baptist Church who would like to open us up today.
All right, let's pray. Father, thanks for our day. Thanks for allowing us to get out in the snowy weather. Thanks for everybody getting here safe, and we do pray for those people who are traveling. God, right now, as we commit this conversation, this meeting to the things of Nicholas County, God, I just pray a special blessing over the people that live here, over the business that's going to happen, and just government. We do pray for each of those leaders. I pray for our commissioners. God, just give them the wisdom and the guidance to make decisions based on what this county needs and what you want. So God, I pray for that. Thanks for all the praises, God. We love you and we praise you. It's in your son's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Jason.
Recording in progress.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Nicholas County Commission for February 19, 2025. If you gentlemen would like to begin.
I'd like to make a motion to review and waive the reading of the February 5th, 2025 minutes and the February 10th, 2025 minutes, February 13th, 2025 minutes of the Board of Review and Equalization.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Upon review of the exonerations as presented by the Nicholas County Assessor, I move to approve accordingly.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion's
Aye.
carried.
Upon review of estate and fiduciary matters as presented by the Nicholas County Clerk, move to approve accordingly unless otherwise noted.
There's a motion on the floor. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion has carried.
Upon submission of budget revisions received from the elected officials and department heads, the commission will take appropriate action as deemed necessary.
There's a motion on the floor. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion's carried.
Upon review of invoices as submitted by various departmental offices, the commission will take the appropriate action as deemed necessary.
There's a motion on the floor. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion is carried. Okay, we have terms of office expiring for the Nicholas County Fire Board. Gary Buzz Workman's term is expiring February 6, 2025, which is a 3-year term. Has anyone talked to him?
Mr. Workman does not wish to proceed. He's not been able to attend meetings for a while now. I do not know of anyone at this time that's interested in this.
He's a member or just a member of the public, general public? Okay.
Both of these are general public.
Okay, we'll get some.
Okay, we'll table that until the next meeting. Angela Evans has resigned from the board as she is now an employee of that department. Is there anyone to fill that position?
I don't
Okay,
have.
we'll table that until the next meeting. Okay, this morning we're running pretty well on schedule, so we'd like to start with the estate of the Naylor, of Dennis Naylor, file number 10575, report from the fiduciary commissioner. Do we want to bring in Brandy?
Yes, please. And who's here concerning the Dennis Naylor file? Please raise your hand.
Me and my client Connie Naylor, interested parties.
And Patty, if you could repeat the names for the record.
Okay. Ruby Flanagan. Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Connie Naylor,
Thank you.
Tom Smith.
Tom Smith. Well, I thought his name may have been Tom Smith. Being represented by.
No.
James Taylor. Smile. Your client will be speaking.
No, wait, he's a lawyer, we can't trust him.
Oh, the next one, okay. Thank you.
Dave started off.
Is anyone here David Lee Clutter? Anybody that's not Yep.
Will anyone besides the attorney be speaking? No. Okay, Brandy, what you got?
Oh.
She'll be back.
Would you like to start us off?
Oh, thank you, I'm sorry.
Okay, so you all have in front of you, the fiduciary's findings. This was sent to fiduciary. And you also have an objection by the executor of the estate. And I believe this was sent to fiduciary back in, yeah. Here's the file. They had previously sent in a report of receipts and disbursements of final settlement, but that was objected to, and so that's why we went to fiduciary. Here's the file.
Thank you very much.
Do you have an opinion?
Recommendations,
Do you have an
opinions,
opinion?
summary?
I have an opinion. Legal counsel probably has an opinion, how we should proceed.
The commission can go right ahead and make its own findings of fact on the merits of this.
Right. My personal opinion, if you would like that, is that it is incomplete and that Dennis Naylor did not receive proper notice of hearing. Because I have no certificate of service for my file. I have no, return receipt request from a certified mailing. So if he wasn't properly served, he would have been unable to give his findings or his facts of the matter.
Are you speaking of David Lee Clutter?
Yes.
Okay.
Can we get a copy of that objection?
Yeah.
I don't have an issue with it, if you all don't.
And I also believe there may not be a proper transcript of the hearing, which,
So this is all that we were provided?
this is all we were provided, which, as you know from previous estates, if there's not a proper transcript, then there could be an issue if it were to go before circuit.
Matt, do you have a recommendation?
Even if they could prove good service, if you review the report that was produced, it states no facts. There's nothing that the commission can get its teeth in. It would be a recitation of a claim, and then the fiduciary commissioner says, well, I assume that's true. There's nothing that you can get a hold of and adjudicate this thing at all. It's gonna have to be, in my opinion, referred to another fiduciary commissioner, get proper service, get findings of fact, conclusions of law, and then we'll prepare an order. But there's nothing in this file that I can prepare for the commission to close these issues.
The lack of notification, that falls on who?
The fiduciary,
Okay. Does he have anything saying that or showing that that was sent out?
I have not, he has not produced anything to me. What's in the file and what I have given you is the only things that he has produced to me.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. There wasn't proper notification. There's not really much we can do with this.
Do we have another, is there anybody else handling
Yes, I have some names, yes.
Okay, do we have a motion on what to do in this situation?
Can you hold abeyance on that until we check with Mr. Selby to see if in fact he did serve or prepare a transcript or
This
anything?
is the second time he's been to come here and hasn't shown that.
Oh, okay,
So I would make a motion that we refer this to a different fiduciary judge that can send out proper notifications, everybody be involved in a proper decision or recommendations be made from that new judge.
Okay. There's a motion on the floor, is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we'll refer this to a different fiduciary.
Do it again.
Payment for that, since that kind of fell through, would they be required to pay for that first round out of the estate? How does that go?
I'd have to check on that, Mr. Commissioner.
And do we have
I
a,
think so.
do we have a right to stop it if we're not getting complete work?
Absolutely.
All right,
Yeah.
Nothing personal, it's just.
it's just business.
Do we need to make a motion on that? Do we wait? Could we?
I think
how long
you,
it's gonna
they're
take?
gonna check and see, right? Or are you gonna actually go ahead and check with him and see if there's something sent out or?
No,
Nothing happened out this
there's
point?
no-
I don't guess it matters at this
Good
point.
point, okay, yeah, we'll do that on the backside then.
Okay, thank you all.
Thank you.
Sorry we couldn't fix it. Okay, now we have another estate, the estate of Sybil Elaine McHugh, file number 10745. Mrs. Brown, would you like to?
This is a continuation from our last hearing. There was an objection to the assets listed in the estate. Jamie Myers, the executrix, is here, and I believe she's going to be represented by her attorney, Paul Slade, who is also present. Here's the file.
Do we have something?
I think you might.
May give it back to you when I
I think you did. There it is.
Over here.
Yep, that's it.
We'll get there eventually.
Okay, will there be anyone besides the attorney speaking today?
Shouldn't.
You're not on your part, Mr. Clark?
Probably not. Jamie Myers might speak if there are issues, but from talking to Mr. Milam, I doubt it.
Before you speak, I just need to swear you in. Okay,
This issue may have resolved itself, gentlemen. We had filed an objection to the listings in the estate, basically, specifically that there were some bank accounts not listed in the assets in the estate. Speaking to Mr. Clay, who represents the executrix of the estate, we're going to resolve those matters. She's going to treat those just the same as probate property, even though they're not listed in the estate as probate property. She's going to treat those just the same. So that takes care of our issue.
do you have anything, Mr. Clark?
As Mr. Milam said, the will provided specifically that even though the bank accounts were joint, that they would be treated as though they were not and divided according to the residuary clause. When she filed the appraisement, the clerk told her that because they were joint, they should be put on the 602 non-probate form, and that's what she did. But she intends to treat them as probate assets and will distribute them when the estate is closed to all six, I believe it was six, distributees under the residuary clause. She did only show one account. Basically, she combined the two accounts, but the number's going to be the same, and they will be distributed to all parties. We need to make an amendment. There was a piece of property in Fayette County that was transferred by a transfer on death deed that wasn't listed. We will amend the appraisement and we'll note these bank accounts, and they will be treated as probate assets.
And on the Fayette County property, if we could be sure to receive a copy of that transfer on death deed, please.
And I have that here today, if you'd like to have
Okay,
a copy
yes.
of it right now.
Sure. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And you've reviewed this, and you have no issue with this?
No.
It's just accounted for, but you recognize the transfer on debt?
Yes.
You okay with that? Everything? You guys feel like you can work it out?
So I guess the action would be for us to withdraw our objection at this time.
Okay.
If that makes it easiest.
Okay.
So we just do, I'd like to do a motion to accept the withdrawal of the objection concerning the estate of Sybil Elaine McHugh, file number 10745, with that objection being presented by Charles Stephen McHugh Jr. Second.
Yes.
Being removed at this time.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried.
Thank you,
Thank you,
folks.
guys.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you all.
I get some papers to give you.
Okay.
We talk about it.
Okay. For now. We'll call them something.
Okay.
Okay, we're back for the 9:30 appointment. At the commission's request, we need to discuss the radio tower and jail. That would be you? Or would that be you? I didn't bring it up either.
So on the jail bill, let's just go ahead and talk about the jail bill.
Okay, let's start with there.
So on the jail bill, I know we talked last year, we put a committee together, and I think we talked about revitalizing that. And I know one of the things that we wanted to do was try to capture any low-hanging fruit that we could to try and reduce the number of days where they're sitting on the county dime. And I know we'd addressed it in the last meeting, or I think there was a statement made, I made right towards the end, that we don't want to, it's not that we want to not incarcerate somebody or put somebody in jail that needs to be, it's just that we're trying to reduce that cycle time from the time they're arrested to the time they're convicted, and they go back over to the state's dime. So I think it'd be in our best interest to pull that team back together and start having those chats again. It seemed to be down, but we're looking at a 23.5% rate increase as of July 1st on the jail bill. And based on our current jail bill, that'd take us from right at $900,000 to $1.08 million. So we're looking at a little, about almost $200,000 increase. And that's if we stay trending where we are right now.
You know, I don't know how we would do this. I've been on the commission for 6 years now, 4 and 2. And every time we try and bring this up, it's always somebody else's fault. And I'm getting tired of that. So maybe something we could consider is to regroup the Army. And I'm usually not this guy to even talk about this, but try and find an outside resource of specialist, some sort of legal professional consultant to come in.
We have one.
And not even we talk about it, not even, I'm not even naming anybody else, but just everybody in the system talk about it, and just hear from them whose responsibility is what, and then we can check our own boxes.
Agreed. I think there's a lot of, when they come in, it's like they feel like they're being put on the defense. You know, it's
Yeah.
like it's just, we're just trying to, our goal, I think, is to understand the process and see if there's any areas we can improve. And that's why I keep saying, if there's no area of improvement, just say that.
Yeah.
But you know, when one department blames another, then there's false hope that if we go to that other department, that there might be some gains in there. And
Right.
then, you know, we're sent either to another one or back. And I think part of that's going to be definitely having all the stakeholders in the room at the same time. Because like you say, whoever doesn't show up is going to be the blame.
Well, and hopefully they take that into account when we have that meeting.
The only issue with that is, can the judge come? Or do they need to stay, I mean,
That's a good point.
Can they sit in and they kind of have to be,
So they're not biased towards working on our jail bill. Can they be involved in that meeting?
I think they probably can be involved, I don't know whether they want to be involved.
Understood.
They're supposed to, you know, have a level of impartiality
Yeah.
and detachment from the fiscal process.
Or maybe even if they were present and remained silent. That way
guess
you could
that-
hear.
I think they see the numbers, don't they? Do you send a copy to the judges, or do
We
they?
usually do, yes.
So
We have
they
to
see
ask.
the names and things, so as long as we don't discuss them.
And of course, Gerald does the review now. It's Gerald now, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I just think if you have all the stakeholders in the room, it's easier for me to blame Patty if she's not here. But if she's here, then that kind of takes my scapegoat out.
Right.
All right, I'll put that together.
But to start out with, you're going to go with an independent consultant.
No, we're gonna have a meeting
We
first.
will have a meeting.
and then get a moderator, mediator, is that what it's called? Moderator?
That's your job.
Mediator.
Let's get
No
that one
one.
guy, he don't make a record.
I know one. He's mediated me before. Done a
Me?
good job. Really?
Huh?
I was only allowed to speak to him and not the person that I was in there with. For real?
I,
Right. That's our first meeting.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
He looked awful neat when I came in, so.
radio tower, I don't have an update on the Richwood one, but, we do need to talk to John about when we can start dismantling this one over here if we don't need it. It's just hanging off a building.
Oh,
So,
Might be able to
the
get,
one that went from here to the tower.
yeah,
That hit the
from the
tower.
old center.
But maybe what you.
Clean up the back of the
what-
building, frankly,
What that
that'd look
was,
better.
didn't we get a grant to?
The Richwood one?
To do the Richwoods?
Yeah,
Is that
it's
what that's
until
about?
weather breaks, there's nothing really going on.
is that just they're remodeling or
New
they're
tower.
upgrading it? Whole new tower?
Yes.
Good.
Oh, it
It's a
is.
Siren Network
Right,
tower,
which is digital.
which is digital and
Yep.
statewide. And, we have a siren, I believe, here on, Lone Tree, and maybe one
Is that
in Mount
and
Nebo.
us?
But that area of the state now, you know, let's say there's another flood.
Sure. Right.
Charleston doesn't have to pick up a phone call, they can just radio to Richwood and vice versa.
Now, ultimately, will all of them get upgraded, or will that serve the whole county, or?
I think, excuse me, I think they have a better range than the standard radios. And so I think it will cover, we will get to the point of covering the county, but I don't think it requires many towers.
Gotcha.
Now, you said the Richwood's a whole new tower?
Yes.
I mean, it's
My
from the
understanding is,
ground up.
'cause
I thought it was just an extension.
Well, to my understanding, it's a $750,000 upgrade,
So
so that'd be tower.
can we use the old tower somewhere else that we don't need?
Well, that's still our network. This is just for the state siren network. Yeah,
So that our tower stays?
yes,
So that you're gonna put another one up?
Yes.
Same field?
yes. I think it's in the same location. I honestly have to check on location. Because we applied for that in 2019.
Finally came through.
Now we're just here.
And now it's on hold?
And now it's on hold for the weather. Again.
So we'll set up a, jail review committee or jail bill review committee,
Yeah, I'll work on that.
and no action
You good
needed
with
on the,
this?
towers. Yeah, it's represented from each department.
Okay. Okay, anything else in discussion?
No, sir.
Okay, we'll move on to our 9:40. Mike Moore, our maintenance director here, would like to talk about execute and approve a TK elevator contract. Discuss interior signage, electronic specialty contract.
I have an electronic specialty.
TKE right there for
What happened?
that's the one that we knocked down from like 18.4 to,
3200 or 10.2.
yeah, yes,
You good with it?
yes,
So the TK is just the elevator.
yes, sir.
And it's a maintenance annual contract.
Yes, sir.
And it's a 1-year agreement.
So that one, like, I think it's set up as the same as the other one, it's 3-year cycles. I believe that's what I read in that one. I haven't looked at it in a couple of weeks. I can't remember right off the top of my head.
But the main thing, we're not gonna sacrifice any service or anything, and we're
No,
reducing the
no.
contract by almost $8,000.
They're going,
Yep.
they're going to keep us, up to date. like,
Yes, sir.
So we'll pass the test. Now, when this is 10,200, is that for the length of the contract or is that per year?
Per
Per
year.
year. Yeah, it was 18.4. Yeah. Now, does that include the actual, when they come out and recertified each year, it's in addition to this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, I just got a bill for that the other day. They'll be coming in March to inspect them. It's like, I'm gonna say 1,300 or 1,100, something like that.
Didn't mention anything, because I mean, like the motherboard, we had the issue with it there, or whatever you call them things. We had an issue with it earlier last year, and they talked about getting an older system. They have any concerns about our systems as they are?
Oh,
parts
for
and
sure.
Stuff like that?
Yeah, like, we need to start planning on replacing them, but because you can't get the boards anymore, which I think we've had that conversation
Right, yeah,
before.
that's what I thought.
Yeah, and I'm gonna get with Lindsay at some point and see what she can do as far as finding us a grant to start replacing those. So,
We got an earmark out, but we don't know what's gonna happen with it
Right.
right now.
Okay.
So, just a quick overview, what, 10,000, what do they do for the 10?
It's just your general maintenance, they'll come out,
Lube
they
and
do
service
quarterly,
and cleaning.
or quarterly maintenance,
Okay.
then they handle your inspection for your certificates and all that.
Okay.
Which is with the Department of Labor.
I make a motion that we accept the new contract.
Reduced contract.
Yes.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion's carried. We sign this one, or?
Yes, sir.
Interior signage.
Yes, sir. So this is from Grave Signs, and this will be all new interior signage for the courthouse. It'll have a white background with your all seal up in the upper left corner. The name of the department, their suite number, and the room number on it. And that'll be in the courthouse all over.
And, let the girls make a copy.
What is it?
The,
Oh, sure.
Heather probably needs a copy of that.
Yes.
Did anything we sign?
Or she probably needs the original one.
Yeah.
Once you get it back from them.
I'll just scan
You
it.
keep one for your phone.
So, you're actually gonna have them do the install, is that what you?
Well, I can do it, we can have them do it, whatever y'all wanna do, it doesn't matter to me.
I'll be the.
My only concern is we don't have, like, we're gonna need some more hangers, like we have on the wall, and they have those. I don't know if they'll sell them to us, I haven't asked him that. but-
Understood. I'm not opposed to that, that way they come in and do it all and take their time.
Like a date?
Yep.
Yeah, be done with it?
Yep.
Okay.
So your motion is to do the signs and the installation? Okay, we have a motion on the floor to accept this proposal for $824.64 for new signage and installation at the courthouse.
And just for public record, you know, once again, we're trying to take into consideration everything that was stated in that hearing about making the courthouse more up-to-date, user-friendly, safe, and everything else. And I know, you know, some of the folks come in, we're gonna move forward with this as well. Some of the folks come in and they have some challenges locating some of the offices and who does what. And some folks might only have a suite number, some might have a room number, some might, you know, whatever the case is. So just modernizing and trying to make it more user-friendly for the general constituency when they come in.
One point of conversation on this, if we could get like one of the departments, like county commission, assessor, sheriff's office, whatever, just to get at least one proof.
Okay.
Make sure we like
I need that PDF, sir.
what you do. But other than that, I'm fine with it.
All right.
But just approve the design of one, so we know what we're getting versus get 20 of them.
Sure.
We don't like
And the line item for the courthouse,
move courthouse budget.
Like that.
general county. Okay, we have a motion on
They'll
the
have
floor.
name if they want.
Yeah, I want to see what they got, because I don't like it.
We have a motion on the floor for $824.64 from general county. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Sir?
Okay, what else?
All right, foundation issue. So, as y'all know, we have a lot of problems downstairs in the basement, right? We got water coming in every time it rains. I had Alford come in there last week and they took a look at it. I have basement authority coming today, this afternoon, and then I have another one coming Friday. Alford's thought on the thing, like, we're getting water under our slab and it's wicking up through that porous brick that the plaster's over top of, and that's why it's bubbling out at the bottom. Like, the longer it sits there, the higher it's gonna go. It's not
On
really
the outside walls.
interior.
Interior
Yeah,
also.
like the whole. So every wall is just porous brick, and then they laid over top of that. All right, so that brick is going down below our slab, and there's moisture underneath that, and it's just sucking it up the walls, and that's what's making our plaster come off the walls down there. So, it's probably gonna have to be engineered. Alfred's gonna work on it. He's got a guy that does stuff like that. So whenever I get more information, we'll talk about it further, but that's what's going on with that huge problem that needs addressed. We'll get some
So in the
solutions.
1800s, they probably didn't use plastic under?
Not at all.
Okay.
All right, let's see. Over the door heaters. Got 4 bids. Y'all wanna take a look at them?
Can't make a decision on those.
Sure. First one.
It's copying off each other. Oh, there's a different one.
Yeah. They may have emailed back and forth, I don't know.
Great. What you got? I know what you get.
Okay, without saying any pricing.
Sure.
This one here appears to be a 61-inch length.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this one here doesn't have a size.
I don't think that one does. There, equipment, activated control, serial number. No, sir, it doesn't.
Okay. This one.
Gotcha. I guess this is a 60 inch on this one. KE 60. That's the 60 inch.
61, yeah.
60, 61, and 48.
So my comment on this, like, if it's not the static pressure buildup from that door opening and closing, and it's just a wicking problem through that block, we probably don't even need this. You know, so if y'all wanna hold off and see what the other basement companies say and what their opinion is.
Is this heat
Yes.
as well? I think they would still appreciate that downstairs. 'Cause it's
I
pretty
was
cold.
gonna say, yeah, probably still ought to be something we do, but we definitely gotta fix that problem down there.
Sure.
It stays pretty cold when you come in out the door a lot, when they're hitting that.
Yeah, it opens 200 times a day.
Yep.
When that door opens,
Mhm.
if you press the button, both doors out.
No, sir.
Just the one.
Just one. Right now, they just had that other one locked. I don't even, it doesn't even have an electric closure on that one side. It's just operates the one side. You can push it open, but it's not an ADA compliant on that side.
Is that a 36-inch door?
It's a double door, so.
No, I mean, what part opens?
Oh, yes, yeah.
So in theory, we don't need the big ones.
No, no. I think that was more of like an aesthetic thing. Whenever you walk in, so it'll be centered up.
What's that, less than? What's that the size?
This one.
On the outdoors. She only got maybe $1,200 if that.
This one here's probably better value. 48 inch.
Same price?
Oh, I was.
Yeah, no, let's do-
Closet.
see, I
Okay.
highlighted it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I tried to make it easier.
Yep. No, you good.
Okay.
Actually, it's gonna be, That's the best.
Let's get the other stuff done.
Mhm.
Let's hand these back to you. And if we make it an agenda item, you just bring those back and present it.
Will do.
Agreed?
Yes, sir.
Not to vote on.
Yeah, it is.
To vote on?
Yeah.
You wanna table that then until we figure out? what's
I
going on
recommend
with it?
table.
Okay. Yeah, you do have it on here. Yeah, let's hold off till we see what we're doing.
Sure.
And that, there certainly wouldn't be their expertise, but you can ask that question to your basement people too.
Okay.
What they thought of it.
Will do. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Okay, we did have a 950. At the request of the commission, we have an MOU for the CWV DT, is that how we'll say it? We just not going to use any names.
Yeah.
The updated has the changes, we talked about that in the meeting. Just like with the utility, I think it's just what utility and.
Whatever I sent back to you.
Yep. They're gonna provide their own interior maintenance and their own internet and phone. We would just provide heat and water.
Big screen TVs, I don't know. They actually used to have a gym, did you ever live in? Big TV. Okay, we have an MOU here for this particular thing. Has all the commissioners reviewed it?
Yes.
Do we have a motion?
Make a motion that we accept the MOU as presented.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. I'll let you fill in the date when the other part of the sign. Okay, welcome back, and we have Sheriff Johnny Evans to talk to us about radio.
Thanks, sir.
So recently, we had one of our radios went out. I guess it just kicked the bucket on us, and one of the car radios. And we actually replaced it with one of our last ones that we had as a spare. And so I got with John about getting an estimate on the pricing on them. And I figured if I could get two, where we'd have, there's one that may be trying to mess up now, then I'd have at least one spare. And so I talked to John about it. He got the pricing for us, and two radios for me is $9,363.24. That's looks like it has a 5-year warranty with it.
Now, when you took all those cars off lines when you got new cars, did you keep those radios?
Yeah, those are the older radios. And from my understanding, and John probably talked to you more about that, but I think eventually those will be able to be used, correct?
Are they even Motorola's?
Yes,
Yes.
they're old.
Yeah.
They're old.
They're the ones Wetzel bought.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it gets to a point that you.
I mean, they're still functional
From
right
old to
now,
new?
but
Is that what it is?
Remember what we talked about the other day, you know, how things are obsolete? And that's what we're getting at now with radios. And I talked to Johnny about this. If he was gonna buy those two right now to get in the cruisers, and I was gonna purchase 3, the way we could have some spares, because a lot of these radios that's in the cruisers now were well before me and him started and installed, but the ones we're having problems with now is the last round, which was bought in, well, I think 17 maybe. And those are some of the new ones, and they're frying. And there's nothing we can do about it.
Is there any way to check and see if they're getting too much power and getting overheated or anything for extended amount of times, or?
Or just being on
I think
hours and hours?
the way we have ours is whenever we get them installed now, like when you turn the car off, they'll automatically go off
Yeah.
within so many minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about somebody leaving the door and draining the battery,
Yeah.
things of that nature. So, I don't really think, I don't think it's a frying issue on too much power or anything like that. I think it's just, they're used a lot and they're giving up the ghost.
And I can tell you, just with every other thing that's new that we bought, they don't make things like they used to.
Yeah.
So if we looked at a grant to replace all those in the next year or so, would these radios be obsolete to what we're getting if we outfitted all the
Those
parts?
are, after 10 years, that's about what we're getting.
So we, like, if we bought these and we got a grant next year, these would still be compatible with whatever.
Right now, yes.
Okay.
Yes. The problem is with grants, there's a Senate bill out there right now that we do not need to pass, and it's Senate Bill 452. That's putting Homeland Security, emergency management, and everything under the National Guard, which is going to cut our grants tremendously for counties. So if you can make some phone calls, that needs to happen. And that's statewide. Everybody's in a panic mode now because.
Have they even come up with a savings amount on that yet?
No, but I
It
know
has to be
it's,
minuscule at best.
everything was signed yesterday and goes in front of the committee tomorrow. So
What's the proposal? What's the
putting all
positive side of that?
He wants the governor wants the tag to oversee everything now, including Homeland Security, emergency management, fire marshal's office, fusion center, everything to be under National Guard.
So you'd be competing with them for funding?
Yes,
grants and stuff?
everything would go through them.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Do you guys have a group or somebody that lobbies that's gonna hopefully work on that?
Yeah, everybody, all the emergency managers are voicing their opinions
Okay.
right now, and several other committees, but we sent all of our information in yesterday afternoon on that.
Okay, do we have a motion to accept this proposal from Sheriff Evans?
Yeah. I mean, this is a necessary thing, we can't go without it, and, even with that price tag, we are a Motorola Solutions system, so we can't, there's no way really to bid this out, in my opinion. But I would make a motion to approve this request for $9,363.24. And I would request this, funding to come out of the restricted opioid fund.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Thanks, sir.
Pick up your check on the way out.
And maybe if you could ping Lindsay and ask her about that.
What's that?
Maybe ping Lindsay and ask her about that.
Okay, I will.
Yep, to find something.
I will.
Just get them all redone.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Maybe we can pull a couple of the newer ones out and use them for spares.
Should be next week.
Okay.
Patty, would you check and see if Cassandra's?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, welcome back for our 10:20 appointment. And we have Mrs. Lawson from Region 4 Planning and Development to talk to us about a couple things.
Would you like to start with Craigsville or the Veterans Memorial Park
You
application?
you begin. Show
Okay.
is yours.
All right, we'll start with the Veterans Memorial Park. We have for your consideration an application to USDA's Rural Business Development Grant. The grant is due February the 28th. This would apply for $99,000 in USDA funding to be matched with a commitment made previously by the Nicholas County Commission in the amount of $30,000 for a total project cost of $129,000. And this would be to facilitate the initial road for the campground in the Nicholas County Veterans Memorial Park, and also facilitate some primitive campsites. The $99,000 is about all you can ask for from this program, but they have indicated they're willing to phase projects. So we would consider this phase one of those improvements, and if successful in receiving funding, we'll have the opportunity to apply again for future phases. And so essentially, you know, that's what we have for you, is approval of the application, all of the supporting documents, and just as a status, the narrative is essentially complete. We're still just fine tuning it with, you know, some additional economic data. We have submitted the request to the State Historic Preservation Office and the West Virginia Department of Economic Development for their clearinghouse review. Those are two requirements. The Historic Preservation Office said they would do their very best to get back to us before the deadline. Hopefully we will also receive that clearance from the previously owned development office. And otherwise, we do need 3 to 5 letters of support from local businesses, which I think we have discussed previously. You guys have some folks in mind, maybe some letters in the works. And we can circle back on that between now and the deadline.
Okay.
And that's that, unless you have any questions.
Do we need a motion to vote on that?
Yeah, what do we
That
need
would
to
be great.
approve exactly?
Submission of the application and approval of all supporting documents for the USDA grant for the Veterans Memorial Park Campground, phase one.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have a
So-
motion on the floor. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion
Aye.
has carried.
Then I believe the only other thing we have for you this morning is we are working on the closeout for the Craigsville generator project. It has been completed for some time. We're not quite there yet as far as like submitting the closeout to the state and FEMA, but just trying to get everything in order to do so. And so we have a closeout letter from the commission just as a part of that process. Just kind of indicates what the total project cost was, that the work is complete, what generators, like where the generators were installed. That's just kind of trying to get a head start on that, so we have it whenever we can proceed.
Okay. You need anything on that?
We do have a letter for you to sign. I guess just approval of the closeout would be sufficient.
No. Do you, did the Richwood broadband go to bid, or is the pre-bid happen yet?
The pre-bid is tomorrow, and the bid opening is March 11th at 2 p.m.
Where's the pre-bid?
It will be at our office,
At what time?
tomorrow at 10 a.m.
And Gary put it on our calendar.
The bid opening will also be at our office on Tuesday, March 11th, and that will be at 2 p.m.
March 11th?
Yep.
And when do you expect tomorrow contractors to look at it?
Yeah, I'm not really sure how many to expect. The consultant has indicated, like, on projects they have bid previously, CityNet, who is also the internet service provider, has been the only responsive bidder, so I don't know if it will just be CityNet tomorrow, or if we'll see more competition than that. But because it is, you know, a small project in a very rural area, it may just be CityNet, just not 100% sure.
Do we need to make a motion on the letter?
Yes, if you just approve,
Can I see the letter?
proceeding,
Okay.
yes. And then also for the, park application, there are several forms. I don't know how hefty your agenda is today. I'm happy to hang around, you know, if you expect to wrap up soon, or I can circle back and pick it up later, or just whatever works.
So the generators installed for the Craigsville PSD have been tested under load and
Mhm.
proven to be acceptable.
Yeah, they're actually all in operation.
We have no remaining funds.
We do need to facilitate one additional payment, but afterwards there will be no remaining funds.
Okay, because this letter does state the commission certifies that no funds remain in the project account.
There will not be at that point.
Is that retainage? Did you put retainage on that contract?
No, the contractors have actually been paid in full. The only remaining payment is to Region 4, and then there was one invoice from Thrasher. The matching funds from the Infrastructure Council, we found that they were never received, so we're working with them to sort that out as to
Is
why
there
they
a
never
deadline
processed.
on this letter?
There is not at this time. If you would prefer for us to circle back with an update, that's fine too.
I'd recommend funds be exhausted first, but you have to sign this if you want to look at it.
And with these projects, you can actually place the funds in an interest-bearing account. But because once the money is deposited, it pretty much immediately goes out. You know, you don't really gain anything. So I think there's like a penny left or $1, like a very nominal amount. But the commission put that in there, you know, to keep the account open. So there are essentially no funds left. If we could have that approved contingent on the final payment being processed, and then
Will we have to approve that?
if that would be okay.
Will we have
The-
to approve the
We have to
final?
approve the final payment, don't we?
They've actually already been approved. It just in going through this closeout, we realized the funds were never received, so I don't know if like there was an error in transmission or what happened, but you guys actually approved that resolution like some time ago. And so it's just kind of like sorting through, you know, the issue of why it wasn't received.
So it says here that $436,305 has been spent out of $511. So is there like $70,000 left?
Yes, that were unexpended. But that final total does include these payments that we're talking about. Like, that is all encompassing, all that will have been spent from the grant, like, altogether. So the project it was under budget.
There's no way to capture those funds, they just stay with the state.
Yeah, they will only allow you to use them, you know, for what the award was approved for.
So the $436,305 includes what's left?
Correct. It will ultimately include all the expenditures, you know, even those that are pending.
I'd actually make a recommendation to approve it contingent upon being issued once the final payments have been, the final amounts have been received and issued to the appropriate parties.
That sounds
Is
really good. And then we can update the date to follow that. That sounds really good.
All right, there's a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, any commissioner comments?
Welcome, former Commissioner Lloyd Atkins.
Hey,
It's a
sir.
pleasure to see you here this morning.
You have anything to say?
I'm really glad to hear the city does project, the broadband project on the hills. Finally coming to fruition. It's
Moving
been-
along.
It's been enough years, it's been probably at least 4 years.
Yeah, a little quicker than the water.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It was 34
The water was
years.
30 some years. Hey, we got her done. Okay.
Commend Homeland Security and Emergency Management for their efforts of initiating a collection from the community to go towards Southern West Virginia flood relief. So thank you, Director McGinnis and Ms. Annette. That's all I have.
I'd like to say a shout out to John and his crew with this last snowstorm and the power outages and the wind and how you jumped right on everything. And to First Energy, who worked tirelessly to get everybody back up and running. Those guys deserve a commendation for that. So that's amazing. So we just say on behalf of the county, thank you for everything. Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Super.
Motion on the floor, any discussion? We are adjourned.